Welcome, I'm Mike Shatwright, and this time we'll be doing the top 10 games that I've played in 2020. Yeah, that's right. This is the second time I'm doing this video. Well, these videos. So let's do a quick history. So the top 10 games I've played in 2020 has been posted almost posted January every year since January 2017. I picked 10 games that I think are the best that I've played in the previous year. Most of these have been blog posts, which you can see one on the side. That isn't the blog post about the 2019 or whatever, but the 2018, the year covering the 2018 is actually a video. But yes, so let's cover the rules, because the rules are pretty simple. But they've been reasonably the same. So let's get on with it. So, rule 1. To be eligible for this list, I must have put considerable playtime in between 1st of January and the 31st of December of that year. Basically, I've got to play that game that year, and considerable playtime is purely a time issue with the time thing I picked up. You know, I don't want to put a certain time, because if I complete a game, I don't want to, and it takes 10 hours, and I play other games for a couple of hundred hours. That the 10-hour one might easily get in, but where the 100-hour may not. But let's move on to the next one. Rule 2. If the game is rendered unplayable or unable to be purchased by the time of creating this list, it is excluded. This really mostly applies to online games or digital store only games, such as last year I used the WiiWare games, but there are games which do happen to fall in this category. So, moving on to rule 3. Barring the ability to buy or play, no release date restrictions are in place to prevent older games making this list. That's right. My Brothers on the Super Nintendo, Mario Bros on the NES is actually eligible. Assuming I believe it's one of the best games I played in 2020. Moving on to rule number 4. Only one game in a series will represent the game series. This is to prevent me filling up the list with the game with several games of the same series, because I usually like to play them in a row. So, but I do actually have a rule 4A. Rule 4A, where multiple games in the series or DLC of one game was played in the same year, for a second game in the series to get a second listing, both games need to stand out separately from one another. I've only invoked this rule once or twice before, and this is purely so I could actually, and most of the time it's been significantly different to this whenever you pulled it out. Then we're going to move on to rule 5. The last rule is, this list is based on what I have played, not the games that were released in this year. So you can get any game you want. So let's moving on to the games. Now, game number 10 is, well, Helltaker. For PC, okay, and on particularly the Steam platform. Well, Helltaker is a short game that I picked up after Christmas. It's one of those you can complete in an outing. It's a puzzle game with some light dating sim elements, where you can basically woo the various inhabitants of Hell. It's a very decent presentation and not as known as how fast you can get back in the action when you fail. It's pretty decent, short, and the main reason why I got onto this list at all is because I played multiple games of the same series, which made room for bring up some of the other games that I wouldn't normally play. Plus, I really didn't feel like I could let Roof Away come into play that often. It is Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. Well, it's actually Grand Theft Auto Online, but it's Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's on the PlayStation 4. However, you can also play it on the Xbox One and PC. Whilst I played it on the PlayStation 4, the game is also available on Xbox One and PC. So if everything's in the bracket, it means that it's just on another console. It's on another console, which is very close to what I like, what's played on. And sometimes I play on multiple consoles, which we'll see later. Right, moving on to the actual GT5 Online. So, well, every so often I get fed up with one of the other games I've been playing with friends, so we decided to go and play GTA Online. Whilst the Caprica heist dropped this year, we haven't actually been on GTA Online since this new update dropped. So most of the time I've been doing the previous heist and a lot of business management. Number 8. Rainbow Skies for the PlayStation 4 and Vita and PlayStation 3. This is purely because of cross-save when I have multiple consoles like this. So Rainbow Skies is a RPG with some tactics RPGs elements thrown in. This game doesn't take itself too seriously and does go over the topic on quite a few occasions. This game series clearly doesn't have the budget that many other RPGs have, where other games have fully voiced animated cutscenes. This most of the story here is told via old school means. I should mention that this is a part of a series, and it's got another series called Rainbow Moon. Don't worry, there's very little shared story between them both, as far as I can see. But Rainbow Moon does come part of a Rainbow Skies bundle for PlayStation 3, 4 and Vita. That's actually quite both PS4 and Vita at the same time. Number 7, which is Gran Turismo Sport for the PlayStation 4. No, merely the PlayStation 5 technically is supported here, but I'm deliberately not getting into the fact that there's multiple versions that you can play backwards compatibility. Hey, hey, I used to play Gran Turismo 2 and 3 back in the early days of the PlayStation 2. Yeah, I know Gran Turismo 2 is actually a PlayStation 1 game. Well, we've got now, despite me and brother living in our different houses, we're still going around the tracks we love. And instead of us racing around with DualShock 2 controllers back then, we're not using DualShock 4s with our from our PlayStation 4s. We're using steering wheels. While GT Sport has more or less stopped adding new things over 15 years of not racing, I really have learnt to relearn the whole thing again. I'm slowly trying to learn how to drive properly without having the game's driving aids that most of them have been enabled. Astral Train, Nintendo Switch, and it's another Platinum game, and as great as this is. The last one was Near Automata back in 2017. It says got controlling a astral beast that was seen by some people. Very expert, like most of us. You'll have a lot of tricky work trying to coordinate two attacks at the same time. While the controls are simple, you can more so when you compare to the other Platinum games. Your controls affect both you and your beast. Sadly, I've not got back to the game after some other events, like event Pokemon was quick on the I played a couple of games on Switch. So I never got back to trying to complete Astral Train. So, moving on to the next one, which is number 5. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Coastal 3. Nintendo Switch. And it's also available on PlayStation 4 and PC if you so wish to play it on that system. This is the third part of or 8th part, depending on how you're counting it, in a series of games. In the Trails series, as we call it. Given I've given a review of this game, I had very good reason to include this game on this list.
Let's go.
I completed the story.
Here I go.
Well, the best you can when you have when this game actually has a sequel that's coming out later in 2021 or for the Switch or later on this year. No, in 2020 on PlayStation 4. This game is pretty much an okay starting point if you want to jump in the middle of the series. But I do recommend either Coastal 1 or Trails of the Sky as a starting point.
I'm up.
In the past, I actually separated out the first game in what I call the prequel sequels, Trails of the Sky, from the first game in the Coastal series game a few years back. This year, I've decided to combine them all back up again because I couldn't really, I did play Chosen Sky, and the second game, Chosen Sky,
very well.
I didn't feel like it fill up this list with this series again.
Let's go. Sit. All right, nice work.
Now moving on to number 4. Destiny 2. PlayStation 4 and PC. Also unavailable on Xbox One, Series XS, and Stadia and PlayStation 5. This one's one of those ones where there is a big list of stuff. So let's get onto it. This is one of the few returning games on this list, and so far, second game to get every it's gone to the get every time it's been possible to. Well, Destiny 2's missed out the first time round because it was out, but Destiny 1 filled that spot. And this time I finally got the Piston Trophy and also 100 Steam achievements at the same time. Purely because I was. This year also saw that you shuttering down the Tickles channel. Now I really need that channel, so I'm going to do it here and copy it over there. The shuttering was mostly down to the fact that the clan channel which outlived the clan. I was trying to promote a clan that had no clan to promote out there to promote. I was hoping I could get some other clan members to get this job mission patch, but I hardly got any chance. And finally, given how few views I was actually getting, I was having trouble editing the seasonal content in the way I like to have it. More or less chose to can it after realising how messed up my outputs was to make it out. If you like my Destiny 2 content, my may include some Destiny 2 content in the future. I have got no idea if or when technology could restart. I really do mean that. Well, I will also add that Destiny 2 got some real iffy stuff happening, and I really do hope that the PlayStation. This really doesn't, because this is just a teething pain with the sunsetting coming on. But yes, so yeah, that's really all I've got for Destiny 2. Number 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. 3DS. Yeah, pretty clear that one is. And it's also arguably available on the Wii, and the Definitive Edition is on the Switch. I personally recommend the Definitive Edition if you do get the chance. But the Definitive Edition was actually released this year, in this 2020. I continued with my 3DS game save, and I just got what some players call Character 7. Now, I won't be showing this actual character off, but Character 7 is a spoiler, story reasons wise. But yeah, I got the 3DS game around the 3DS game's launch, and it's gives you the idea how long I've been playing or not been playing. But this will end up being the longest non-Pokemon game on my 3DS game yet. I do believe the combat's pretty decent and pretty quite fun to use, especially the real-time MMO style combat that this series is like to use. Because I've played all three of the games them all. Which helps to change at some point.
You like that? Right. Nice one.
Leave it to Ryan. Tranquilizer! Good night! Gotta cool off. Hey!
Charlotte, did you see me? Did you see what I did?
Oh, I wasn't really looking.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
So, moving on to number 2. Pokemon Shield. Nintendo Switch, of course, on the Nintendo Switch. Surprisingly, there was a 6-way battle for this Pokemon slot. The other ones were being Pokemon Home, Pokemon Go, Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon X, and Pokemon Home. Yeah, that's 6, but I think I've just been more than once. Okay, Shield Shield in this case more or less won it. Despite me not getting the DLC, it was more or less one of the hardest times I had to beat. I actually like doing the community raid hour because the max raid battles are a good post-game challenge for someone who doesn't like to focus on the battle challenge such as the battle tower or the playing competitive. The story at this time was beginning as I had a Pokemon game, but this was a lot way better than the last 2 games where they're basically redos of the other games. But yeah. Now, moving on to... When we get on to move number 1, we're going to have cover Mike's Gaming Scrapbook. Do you know you and I take snaps of games, and I like to share them on my blog called Mike's Gaming Scrapbook. Last year I had a photo a day thing going on, and you can see all 350 odd of them if you so wish. Links will be in the description because the link's way bigger than I could fit in a text box here. But now we're going on to number 1. Number 1, Star Trek Online. PC. Also available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Considering how much I played this had to be on the list. This year I actually played Scarlet, who's my Let's Play character, a lot more off screen than I did in previous years. In 2019 I more had to show everything on screen because I was leveling up way faster than I needed to. But this year I hit max level very early in the year. This meant I could let Scarlet fly around without seeming to show her next. I have many other characters that got into action well, because there were many because I was helping to get the goodies from each of the event months that were going on in the game this year, despite having very little big stuff happening, but there were some new storylines, new stories. But yeah, that's been Max. This is more or less it. I've been Max Writer. See you guys next time.